just sort of what you were saying about the parent-child relationship. Um, so recently I was having a conversation with somebody that has several children, just like 3 or 4, and they opened up and they said they're done, no more. Just running after the little kids constantly. It just they're good. And obviously, hearing that, something sounded a little off or pathetic, you know. But at the same time, I was a loss for words. Like, obviously, I know they could get a heter from a rav and they can get permission from a rabbi to go on birth control. But I was trying to articulate to them to perhaps look a little more deeply at the need for children where they come from, because it is obviously overwhelming and exhausting and constantly, running around. And I was trying to explain to him about the need for children, why that's our essential need. And yes, sometimes things can get in the way and we would want more help. And that's really what the direction he should be looking in. But I couldn't bring it all together. So I was just wondering, sort of just moving on to the next topic, that need for children and how it could end up having your family, which could be as many as you can possibly have, which goes against, people's natural state or their condition or comfort zone. The need for children, how deep is it and where does it come from?
It's almost synonymous with being a human being. If you can't give life, you're not living yourself. To live means to give life, unless you're a narcissist. Then living means to just be you. But for most people, living means giving life, bringing life in many different ways, but primarily in giving birth. There's an old song in which the singer is, or the composer, is bemoaning the fact that it's quiet in the house. What happened to the chatter? What happened to the footsteps? What happened to the diapers? We looked forward to getting past all that, and now we miss it. Life is so empty. So it can't be too short-sighted. And I think most regret, and people, God forbid, regret having children, is because you consider it optional. If it's essentially optional, why did we choose to do this? We could have chosen not to. So you can kind of beat yourself up for making a bad choice. But it's not really a choice. Certainly not for a woman. If you don't give life, you don't really feel alive yourself. Yeah, you can convince yourself, oh, my life is great. I can come, I can go, I can do whatever I want. Does that mean you're alive, or does that mean you're just free to move around? Is freedom of movement life? Hardly. How many children can you handle? Well, that's a completely different question.
Well, that's what they were saying. Like, they can barely give enough attention to the children that they have already. Uh, Is that a consideration?
I'm not sure exactly what the cutoff is, but when you can't handle, you got to be careful. You push yourself beyond your limits, and it's going to be a disaster for everybody. Remember this woman who was crying with shame and guilt that she doesn't want to have any more children. I said, how many do you have? She said, 9. I said, you're nuts. 9 is a lot. Why are you apologizing for not wanting anymore? You can't handle anymore. You went way beyond the call of duty. So, what makes a cutoff? I'm not sure. A kid who is an only child or one of two children is going to have 8 or 9 children. That may be really overwhelming because that's not the image that they grew up with. To them, a family is one kid to blame. That's it. So you gotta be realistic about that. Physically and emotionally, how much can you extend yourself? But if you could extend yourself more, why wouldn't you want to? That's life. Life means beyond myself. Just being myself is stagnation. You were born yourself, you are yourself, and you're going to die yourself. So what happened? What is your life? You just maintained. You didn't live.
Right. Wow, that wasn't honestly the answer I was expecting. Because here we live in, non-Orthodox community, and, it's not like same as in Williamsburg or Crown Heights where people have 10, 11, or 12 children. Um, so this conversation I was having, the father, I guess now what you're saying, rightfully saying, I can't just give that much attention. I have my wife, I have my job, I have, 4 kids. And from what you're saying, that's fine. That's an appropriate response. He shouldn't try to dig deeper. Like maybe he would at some point, but right now he's like, I'm good to go, and that's okay.
Birth control is available with with certain restrictions, but we're not Catholic.
Catholics don't use birth control.
No.